Do you ever have that thing in your head that you really want to draw? The other day, I had that really cool opening scene in the Avengers Age of Ultron. You know, the one where they infiltrate in the bunker in the snow at the beginning of the movie. And they have that really cool slow motion shot of all the Avengers flying through the air. Well, that's what I had stuck in my head when I opened my sketchbook the other day, and I thought that would be really cool to draw. But when I actually thought about it for more than 2.5 seconds, I realized that would be way too difficult for me to draw. So I sat down and sketched out a pretty boring Invincible pose. And that's what I'm drawing today. If you haven't noticed already, this video is going to be slightly different than my previous videos because I have no idea what to talk about today. So I'm just going to talk about what I am drawing. As I said at the beginning of the video, I am drawing Invincible. Now, before we get started, no spoilers down in the comments. I am still a little bit behind in the Invincible series on Prime. I can't remember where I'm at, but I really like it and I am getting through it. I'm just not caught up with the current season yet. I know it gets better. I know it's been good so far and I enjoy it, but I don't watch it rigorous. No, I can't say that word. I don't watch it all the time. So I'm a little bit behind. So yeah, like I said, I was a bit stuck of what to draw. I had one thing in my head of what I wanted to draw and then ultimately decided that that was too difficult to draw. And I want to touch on that a little bit today because I think this is something that people do all the time in their lives, not just in art or creation, where they do this in real life too, but mostly when you're a creative person, I think in your head you have the way something should be or you want something to be like, whether it's look like or it's the way it's laid out or whatever it might be. Um, and I'm curious to see how many people actually sit there and go compare what they have in their mind before they start a project to the finished project and how comparable those two things actually are. And because I would imagine that if anybody's anything like me, I would imagine the thing that they had in their head is almost completely different to the actual thing that they created. And that may not be in a bad way, or it may doesn't mean the thing that you've created is worse or better even. It just means it's different. And I think that's what a creative person is. It's having that thought of creating something new, whether that's a poem, a book, a story, a comic, a m- masterpiece, art piece, I don't know for a better word. It could be anything. If you have that, a creative person is always thinking of new things and always thinking of something that they can create and they can make. And then when it comes down to it, when it comes to putting those words on the paper, typing them out, writing them down, painting those paint strokes, drawing that panel, whatever it might be, I do believe that most people will, if they're honest and they look at and they're really honest and they sit there and go, yeah, actually, that wasn't exactly what I was thinking about, but it is still something. It is close to what I was looking at or what I was thinking about. And I think that's where you shouldn't be disgruntled with it not being exactly the same. You still created it. You still made something. You should be happy with what you have accomplished. It's not always about this thing being perfect. I've said this on my channel many a times, and we'll take it back to the world famous Jake Parker, where he says, finished and not perfect. If you've got something created and you have made a thing, it doesn't matter if it's not perfect. It doesn't matter if it's not the same as what you had in your head. All that matters is that you have taken the time and you have made something that didn't exist before. What you do with that next is completely up to you, whether you keep that in a sketchbook, whether you share that online, or whether you lock it away for nobody else to see. That is completely your prerogative. It's your thing. You can do whatever you want with it because you're the one that has made that thing. And again, this could go for anything in the world. This could be anything that you have actually sat down and made. Like I said, whether it's a poem, a story, a book, a novel, a comic, a piece of art, anything that you can think of, you can create because you are a creative. So this is going to be a very, very short video. Let's talk about what I'm actually drawing. As I said, I had something in my mind, completely changed it because I thought it was too difficult to draw, to be honest. And then come up with this invincible art piece. Art piece, I'm not going to go that strong. Invincible drawing in my sketchbook. Again, for me, I find Invincible pretty simple once you know a little bit about anatomy and things like that. I think he's kind of simple to draw. Out of a lot of superheroes, he's probably one of the easiest ones to draw. Because he's quite simple with his lines and things like that, simple with his colors. I might have got to the background, and this is a huge thing about what I'm talking about today. Is if I'm on the background yet, you will see that I changed that background about 3 or 4 times, and then I eventually just color over it. There was paint markers back there. There was alcohol markers. There was swirly and squiggly lines in there. I just couldn't make up my mind of what I liked. I didn't want it to be pure black, so that's why eventually I ended up going with that dark purple that hopefully is on the screen by now. But yeah, that is what I drew today. As I said, quite a short video as I couldn't really think of what to talk about today. And as I said at the very beginning, the sketch that I sat down to draw when I filmed this was not actually the thing that I had in my head. But it's okay. I have a finished page in my sketchbook. I'm happy with the way that it turned out. And it has accomplished something. It has got the drawing out of my system. It's got a page filled up in my sketchbook. And predominantly, it means I'm one step closer to actually finishing this sketchbook, which, to be fair, I'm not that far away from. There's a handful of pages left. I'm just looking at it now off screen. A handful of pages left in there. And I can finally say this sketchbook is done. It has been a very, very, very long time coming. And I cannot wait to finish this sketchbook. But if you did like this, guys, please make sure you leave a like. Comment down below if you've ever had something in your head that's turned out perfectly from when you've thought about it and when you actually created it, or let me know if it's the other way around where it's completely something different that you've created. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time.